is happening out there? You know, fuck it, I'm just gonna mind my own business. Anyway, so, yeah, after climbing 500 plus steps and all that shit at the cathedral, and you know, we were like, you know what? We're hungry, we're tired. Well, definitely I was tired. And before we entered the cathedral, I remember seeing this spot like it's seriously like cathedral, cross the street, bam, yo motherfucking sushi. It'd be great if that was their name. When I was kind of like looking at places to eat, actually around where our hotel is, there's like a little mall. And I saw, I was like, oh, cool, there's sushi. And then I was just like reading on it, like, oh, okay. And it was like, oh, it has like conveyor belt. And I was like, what? Conveyor belt sushi? Like, why don't we have that shit in New York? And so then I remember talking to my sister about it. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's a gimmick. I'm like, thank you. Didn't realize that. You know, oh, it's a chain. There's so many of them all over London. I was like, yeah. Yeah, that's even better if it's a chain. Because that means I don't have to, like, go way too far. You know? Like I said, several blocks from our hotel, there was one in the mall, there was one right by the cathedral, and there was one at the airport. There was one at the airport. It was really funny, because I remember telling my mom that. She's like, oh, do you want to go again? And I was just like, I was like, nah, I'm good. So I just said to my mom, I was like, you up for some sushi? I was like, Mom, I think this is the place that has, like, the conveyor belt stuff. Since she's never experienced that, we're like, fuck it, let's go in. And the waitress is like, oh, you know, like, here's your menus. And the menu, you know, explains, obviously, the prices with, like, the different color plates. And she even said, like, hey, if you don't see something coming through the conveyor belt, but you want it, you see it in our menu, you can press the help button, and we can come over and take your order specifically for it. Cool, you know? So then, of course, she's like, oh, do you guys want anything to drink? You know, that kind of stuff. And because I did some exercise for once in my life, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, but I had to work out like a bitch. So I was like, fuck it, I'm having a beer. I rarely ever drink, but I was like, I'm gonna have a beer, I'm an adult, I did some exercise, I'm a taxpayer, I'm gonna have a beer. You know? And then I also, you know, was like, oh yeah, let's have like 2 glasses of water. And so it was cool. So she comes back with like the beer, and it was huge because, you know, it's a fucking Japanese beer. And then she comes back with 2 glasses, and then she's like, oh yeah, like it's unlimited, you know, at the table. And it was pretty fucking awesome because you just like, you know, you just press down, whoosh, get water, little bit, not too much. You don't have to wait for like the awkward, like, can I just get more water? Or like, there's always like the one busboy who like is way too adamant about refilling your water. You know, you have a full glass, you take a sip, you put it down, he's back over just pouring more water, and you're like, Jesus, man. But it's great. So, you know, my mom and I, we fill our glasses of water, and then I thought my mom was just like hitting her button like really hard because there's 2 of them, because hers was just like psh, all over the place. And then after I was like pretty much gulping down the entire thing of water, because again, 500 fucking steps, didn't have any like water or anything on us. And then I just kind of like sat there for a second and just kind of like, you know, like after I poured my beer and all that stuff, I just kind of like just looked, and I was like, still water, still water, still water. Like it was just kind of like, it's like, oh, still water. And then I look over and I was like, sparkling? And my mom didn't even take a sip of hers yet. And then I was like, wait a second. And I was like, Mom, you got sparkling water. I was like, what the fuck? So then, like, because I finished mine, I was like, fuck it, I'm getting some sparkling water too, because I'm a fancy-ass bitch. And, you know, all that stuff. And I was like, ooh, unlimited sparkling water. You still have to pay for it. It was like, you know, like $1.90. I mean, like a £1 30 pence, 30p, 130, you know, for it, you know. So that was freaking cool. Like I said, then there was also obviously, you know, the napkins, your soy sauce, your wasabi, your ginger, all that shit. We were both tired. We were walking around a lot, of course. So we're just eating, just, you know, basking in the glory of the place, you know, like, and we were just eating. We were just eating and be like, oh, okay. Be like, oh, what's that? And the cool thing is that, like, oh, you know, if you're not sure about a food, you just look at the menu and you're like, oh, that's tuna. Okay, cool. Okay, and you're like, oh, yeah, this is like, whatever. And then you just grab and go. and all that stuff. And the things were really, really tasty. You know, it's sushi, so, you know, it's like the kind of generic sushi stuff, so you can't really do it wrong, but there have been people who've done it wrong. Um, it's really good, and it's really funny because when we got there, you know, the sun was still out, all shining, and when we left, it was like fucking dark. Like, we were there for a while, you know. Like, I drank all my beer, we ate a lot of food, you know. Like, at the end, like, my mom had her plate stacked up, I had my plate stacked up. Obviously, I ate just a little bit more than my mother because I'm a fat kid. You know, there were a few times we did have to hit the help button to order like a miso soup, or, you know, or just whatever. We didn't see it on like the menu or something. You see in like the video where there's like these kind of like bubbly kind of like lights and stuff around. And that's actually the thing. Like, they're all like one color, they're all like blue, but if you press the help button, it just makes this red one. So obviously, you know, the waitress knows, you know, like which table to go to. I don't know what the announcement is when you hit the button, you know, because of course, like, you come in and they all say like hello to you in Japanese, you know, all like the Japanese people who work there and the white people, they all say hello, and then you're like, oh, cool, and I don't know what they're saying, but it just sounds like, you know, like Japanese game show voice. You press it, you just hear whoa, and you're like, it was like really loud. Just there's like a whing, not a gong, but like a whing, and I was just like, oh, damn! I just like I couldn't like stop laughing. So like we ordered a thing, and then my mom wanted something, and I was like, oh, I guess I have to hit the help button again, and I was just like, what? It's just like such a weird noise, you know. But yeah, like I said, the food was good, and I ate a lot, because you're just sitting there with, like, a little plate, munch, 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 then you're like, fuck it, I'll have another plate, munch, 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 hey, I'll have another plate, munch, 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 you know, and most of the food I kept with was in, like, the purple range, which was kind of like, I don't know, it was like $3-4, I don't know, whatever, middle range. I did have one that was, like, the yellow plate, which was, like, the most expensive, because I think the least expensive is like $2 or one, and it goes all the way up to like I think 10 or something, or 8, like nothing too bad, but shit adds up, and you know, when you got all that stuff. So by the time we were like, okay, we're good, let's leave, let's go back, you know, let's go back to, you know, my sister's place, you know, for more dinner, you know, because I was like, oh, I text her, I was like, yeah, we're having sushi. She's like, oh, I guess you're not going to want to have dinner. I was like, bitch, of course we want more food. Food, and on top of food, fat kid, you know? So, like, again, you press the help button again, oh, and you're like, you know, the waitress comes over, and then I was like, oh yeah, can we get like the check and all that stuff? And the total, I paid for it because I ate the most and it was my idea. My total came out to be about like 99 something pounds. Like, I spent with tip or whatever stuff, I spent over $100 on fucking gimmicky conveyor belt sushi. And it's like, and you know what, like, if you think about it, like, god damn, that is a lot of fucking money. But at the same time, like, I didn't have any issues after eating it, you know what I mean? I'm not, like, doubled over in the bathroom that night, the next day, you know? So, of course, sanitary. I was full, you know? I enjoyed myself. You know, my mom and I had a good time. You know, it was like a fun atmosphere kind of shit. So, you know what? Yeah. It might not be someplace you be going all the time, but fuck it. Like, who wants some conveyor belt sushi? Yeah, let's go do it. Yeah, fun. You know? And it's like, I feel, I like it because it's like the lazy person buffet, you know, where it's like, oh man, I want to eat a lot of food, but I want it to come to me, but not talk to anyone. I enjoyed it. I totally, you know, would love to go again. I actually looked it up, and I think they're gonna open one in Manhattan, which is fucking awesome. Because I was telling my friends about it, and I was like, oh my god, I want you guys to, like, experience this, because it was so much fun. So I really hope it's true that they are gonna open one in Manhattan, because then I'll make another video about the Manhattan one, you know? Because then I can judge which one was, like, better, because I went to the original one. But anyway, yeah, so freaking conveyor belt sushi, that shit was fucking awesome, you know? I enjoyed it, like I said, like Like, if you're ever in London and you want something fun like that, fuck yeah, you know, if you've never experienced conveyor belt sushi, fuck it, you know? Like I said, they had one at Heathrow Airport, and again, I was tempted, but at the same time, I was tired. I just wanted to get on my flight and go back to the States, you know? And not be confused by time differences. But anyway, so yeah, that was Yo Sushi, motherfucker. What is going on outside? That is not the wind. Someone's dying outside.